Hey, how's it going, collectors? This is Elliot again. Um, gonna bring you a little bit of not necessarily a review. It's just my opinion and my assessment of some action figures that just recently came out. These are import figures from a company called Fury Toys. I think they call this line the Abyss Force. This is the Shark Squad. I ordered this from 5K Toys, and they just came in about 2 or 3 days ago. And I've been messing with them a little bit, trying to get a good feel for the articulation and the way these things function. So, right off the bat, you can see these are, anthropomorphic shark guys, right? But they also kind of give them a little bit of a gangster look or motif. First thing that I noticed, obviously, and what you'll notice probably, is that they're based loosely off of this type of anatomy, like a large shark body with smaller, somewhat cartoonish legs. That may be my only I'm not even going to say it's a gripe, because it's really not, but these small legs function well with something like this because it's mostly hollow up here. So the smaller legs give them a pretty good base. These guys, in comparison, have extremely dense upper bodies. Extremely dense, huge, massive, dense upper bodies, and the legs, because they're going for that street shark look, are smaller in comparison to the upper body, and that kind of gives you a unique challenge. So all of these, you can tell, are posed well. They're solid. They're not going anywhere, but you do have to pay attention to the center of gravity, the balance. They're much heavier on the top than they are on the bottom, and that's basically all you have to be aware of whenever you pose in these guys. Now there's other reviews out there, not many. There's a few other reviews out there that go into accessories and what the box looks like. I don't mind showing you guys, the box. The box is beautiful. It's a nice solid cardboard. Comes with one for, obviously the great white shark, the hammerhead shark, and then there's a tiger shark, right? The tiger shark is named Crazy Boy Billy. This hammerhead is called Beast in the Cage Gypsy, and then the great white is Public Enemy Arthur. So, yeah, that'll be all that I'll be saying about the packaging. I'm gonna focus on the articulation and the details on these figures. A lot about the articulation, I would say. These guys are well articulated. There's no double joints anywhere on the figures. No double joints. The Fury Toys, basically, what I notice is they kind of take like a NECA approach to the way that they design their articulation. And so elbows are articulated with more of a single joint that kind of rotates. There's no bicep swivel. You have a normal hinge at the shoulder. You have a ball joint for the head. You have a ball joint in the upper torso and a ball joint in the lower torso. Ball jointed legs, very NECA style, and they actually have a rotation inside. And I'll show you a closer look at that as we move along. These each come with a set of interchangeable hands. Now this guy, the hammerhead, he has fists and then grasping hands, because he's somewhat of the boxer of the group. These other guys, they come with splayed hands And then they come with grasping hands to hold guns. So these guys hold guns and little accessories. This guy has grasping hands to hold basically an anchor that he uses as a weapon. And you can see they all come with a bunch of little accessories. But here's the anchor, and then he has like a like a championship belt and some gold chains that he can wear. He also has like brass knuckles that he can put kind of like attached to his hands. So yeah, this guy's really gangster. The other guys, they have guns and whatnot, so it's all good. But I don't have anything to complain about with their accessories. I'm not really a big accessory guy, but I'm very happy with what got here. So let me start off first, kind of giving you guys a closer look at what these guys look like up close. Okay. So this guy has tattoos, right? You will eventually become my food. And hunger. He's got some tattoos on the arms, but just looking at the texture, you can see everything is sculpted really organically. There's some, like scarring in the skin. There's some folds of skin where you would expect it to be. Sorry about that. The eyes on these are just what you would expect from a shark, kind of like a dead black eye, but it seems like it still has some kind of life in it. They really did a good job with the paint. Look at how this fades from a dark blue here and into like a lighter grayish blue around here. And the same thing can be found even on the head. You can see at the top, it's a nice darker blue that fades into a light gray blue. And as you can see, the mouth can be closed and opened. And when you do, it's not just at the bottom, but the top too will come out. See, when you close this, they all recess in, and then they come out as you open the mouth. So really, really good job in the way that they sculpted that. Pants, you see all of the shirts. Now, I think all of these guys share the same lower body and pants. They just painted them differently. The only difference here is these two guys have boots, and they just painted them a different color. Pants are the same all across the board, just painted a different color, and they gave this guy actual tennis shoes. And that's where you're going to find your biggest difference between them. Going back to what we're talking about, I want to try to go over the articulation on this guy. So people have been talking about how limited it is, and I think for what we get here, I don't find it that limited. So starting with the head, if I can show you, so you can move down about that much. You can go up about that much. That's about, there we go. You've been able to get it a little bit further. And then you can move sideways, but you have to somewhat work on it. See, this is just a sheath that is put in here to probably hide gapping. You can move the head, obviously rotate it on this way, that way. And sometimes this gets caught, but you can move it. You just have to work with it. If you look now, he's got a pretty good left and right. You just have to work with it. Just have to work with it. Okay, so that's that. One thing I did notice is with these shoulders, these are probably the most ratcheted joint on the figure. So the shoulders are heavily ratcheted. So I'm going to try to I had to work with these a bit. There you go. 1, 2, 3. But look at the range on that, right? These guys can get out there beyond 90 degrees for that T-pose. Bring it back down. You can bring them all the way close to the body. I mean, we don't have Marvel Legends that can touch their body this way with the shoulder joint, right? So you can get this done. Obviously, it's going to rotate around. Then when you want to get into this elbow joint, it's ratcheted, but it's a lot easier. You can get a 90-degree bend here. It doesn't look weird. This is the only part, like, you know, obviously they make a different, this hinge portion is made of a different plastic than what we have going on here, so you know, it wouldn't even hold paint if they had painted it. So you can do that, right? And then you'll get your swivel out of that. Here, out of all three, I did notice that the tolerance at the torso joint was much tighter for the Hammerhead shark. It's a little looser, a little bit more tolerances for the other two sharks. I'm going to show you how far this will move. So let's see if I can get it going, because these guys, here you go. Like, here's your side to side, right? And then forward. Show you how far it'll go. And this is what it looks like. Doesn't really cause any gapping. You just get, you know, a little bit of sculpt it where it disconnects a little bit here, and then you can push back, and that's as far back as you'll get on this guy. So here, and then as you could probably tell, you have something here at the waist. So together, you can get quite a bit of movement in you can get some forward and back using both. Okay, so legs. I told you I was going to show you. So these legs actually have a drop down. You can see that's it pulled up and down. It's not a lot, but you can get a kick up. You can go out to the side. If you look here, you can see the body peeking through here, and that's just because I have it leaning. Once you get that out the way, there you go. You can get the legs out. There's it is a ball joint. I mean, just a big ball joint in here, and then you have also a thigh swivel here. So you got a ball joint, thigh swivel. Knees are going to be a single joint. Same thing that you saw at the elbow. Ratcheted, 90-degree bend, and then straight. So you can actually use the legs and make them straight. These guys are better served with a bit of a like a little bit of a stance, you know, like with a little bent knee stance, just to keep the balance right. But you can give them a perfectly straight leg stance. Looking here, I want to show you the articulation in the knee and the ankles. So you have a regular, so it's like a ball hinge. So it's like a ball hinge, and you can go here. This is as far down as you can. And really, when it comes to action figures, I don't need my toes to point to the ground. I want them to go up. That's not how, you know, whenever you're getting a deep stance, you don't need the toes pointing to the ground. So they don't have a huge amount going down, just perfectly fine with me, but it goes way up. And then on top, when it's up, also you have a rocker that goes from here to here. So you get a decent rocker. It's not super deep. I will tell you, it is not a super deep rocker, but you do get, there we go. You get it to where you can turn it and manipulate it, okay? And on top of that, this also rotates in here in case you need that. So overall, all of them have the same articulation. I'm going to show you the difference in the torsos with the other guys, but I'll say again, these are not ratcheted. These are the only joints, and of course these ball joints right here. But you can hear that they hold. These are a little bit, they're not as tight. They're tight enough, but the weight, the upper body weight of this thing can overcome these ankle joints. So if you put him in an extreme pose and you find that he's not where you want him to be, just work with the center of gravity. You know, you got to find the right balance with these guys to make them work the way you want, right? So if you get in here, it doesn't take a huge amount of work, but you have to get it right, or it is going to drop on you. So again, here we go. You can see that if you get too extreme, it will give you a little bit of a problem. There we go. And let me set him back there so you guys can see. But you can get him in poses. You do have you have to account for this. I weighed these guys, and they're like 584 grams, something like a pound. 1 pound, like 5-6 ounces. They're big figures, man. They're heavy figures. Let me show you this guy here, just to kind of give you an example of how the upper torso works here. You can see under this belt, there's a lot more clearance for this guy, and it's the same with this one. I feel like these two sharks, the great white and the tiger shark, are almost beat for beat the same, especially the torso area. They have very, very similar, if not exact, construction. So with this guy, you can move the torso back way further. Look at that. Like so. You can go way back with him. It does leave a gap, but he has this like bandolier that he keeps here that you can attach like little, he comes with dynamite, and you can stick the dynamite on each one of these pegs. But you can push that way back, and you can come forward with it quite a bit, right? And he also has obviously the legs down, they're going to be the same exact construction for everything from the legs down. So for me, they're not super articulated, right? They're not going to be maximum Spider-Man, but I don't need them to be maximum Spider-Man. I need them to be big, aggressive looking sharks, and they are all of that. Here's taking a look at the tiger shark. Again, painted impeccably. Look at, I just love the way there's a transition between the underbody of the shark and then the top layer of paint. You can see the subtle stripes across, airbrush just impeccably. Same deal we talk about with the jaw, and that that shark eye is so crazy to me. It looks so good. And the expression when it changes, you just open that mouth up and it looks so sinister. So these guys are solid, man. Really, really solid. Okay, here's a look. I'm just gonna give you a close-up look. Like I said, I think people have shown this already, to the point where I'm being redundant showing this. But here's a look at the great white shark. Closed mouth, open mouth. Okay. All right, so there's your 3 guys, and I want to show you a couple of size comparisons. Okay. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Red Hulk. This figure feels like it's about, I think I weighed it and it was like 370 or 380 grams versus 500 plus grams. This is a much denser figure here. This one, the top is hollow. The legs kind of feel hollow. It's just not as heavy. Love the figure. It's fine. But in comparison, it's there's no comparison. So, but that's one. Here's Spider-Man next to this shark. Okay. Here's a McFarlane recovery suit Superman. So these figures are 7-inch scale. So this is about an 8-inch shark. And here's He-Man. Again, it's another 7-inch figure. And finally, I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite figures that I've gotten this year. Right? Leatherhead, the NECA Leatherhead. This is a big figure, and he matches up well with these sharks. I would say nearly as heavy. NECA doesn't skimp on the quality and the type of plastic that they use. This, if you guys hadn't picked this up and you're at all interested in it, don't hesitate. This is a fantastic figure. This is a great figure right here. But I think that's going to wrap it up for me. Like I said, this was not to go through. It would take 2 hours to go through all of the accessories that these guys come with, and all the little bits and pieces that you can take on and you can put on and take off, But basically, it's hands. And I want to show some people may ask about the hands. I don't think I covered that. So the hands sit on a ball joint, right? So you have as much movement out of them as you want. Left, right, you're not restricted in any way. And when you take off a hand, it's basically just pop. So you see it's on a ball joint. And that's why they move so well. There. Easy to put on, easy to take off there. And they're not too hard. So whenever you use the grasping hands, you'll be able to put the weapons in so that they can hold them and you won't have to feel like you're going to break the hand or have to heat them up. I think the only thing I would say is just, again, be careful with the shoulders. The shoulders are extremely tight. The ratchets are very dense. I used a little bit of heat on a couple of these guys for the shoulders just to get that rolling. They came very, very lubed. I would say there's plenty of lube, but even then you still have to heat it up. The elbows, the legs, the rest of that stuff didn't require any heat, but just be careful with your shoulder joints. And that's it for me, man. If anybody's on the fence about these guys and you want to ask me any questions, feel free to. But for me, these are probably some of. They're definitely going to be for me in the top 5. If I'm just considering them one, but in the top 5 for figures this year. They're so good, man. They're painted so well. they're sculpted so well. They're big. You feel like you're getting every bit of value that you pay for with these, in my opinion. You know, they're not cheap. I think they're so on 5K Toys, I just checked before I started this video, they were 69, so 70 bucks a piece. And if you buy them as a trio, instead of paying 180, right, you get them for 170 for all three. And then it comes with a little accessory pack that has like some like a fish, a big fish, and two extra hats. These guys have magnets in the top of their heads. These guys do. I don't think this one does, but he might. I think, yeah, maybe he does too. They have magnets embedded in the head, and you can't see it. You can see where it was kind of like there's a slight divot, but it's covered. It's not something, if you don't use a hat, you won't be able to tell. But there's a magnet in there. You can stick a hat on there, and they'll, as part of their outfits. I'm not big on the hats. I just want these guys to look just like sharks. I don't mind, you know, obviously this stuff here, the pants and all this good stuff, but I don't want them, I don't want to see them with hats on. But they do, like the little accessory kit comes with that and a couple of human body parts. So it is cool. If you're going to go in on one, I would probably go ahead and get all three just to get that little accessory pack. And yeah. And if you like the video, or if you have anything that you want to ask or say, please feel free to jump in the comments, and I'll try to reply to anything that I can. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you enjoy collecting.